I was never a temperate user, right? I couldn't just drink a half a beer and put it down, Like I'm going all in, so I know it's either all or nothing with me, right? So the money, the girl, like even the kids would keep me sober for a little while, and then eventually I'll make up some excuse to go back out.
Welcome back to the Hopeaholics Podcast. I am your girl, Natalie Eva Marie.
And I'm Chad Carlson, and you're listening to the #1 addiction and mental health podcast.
And you guys, if you or a loved one is struggling, make sure you head to askevamarie.com or chaddick.com and chat with one of our AI companions 24/7.
Or text the number right here on the screen.
Together, we are breaking the stigma around addiction and mental health.
And fighting the fentanyl epidemic.
Now, let's get into the episode.
Tony Johnson, welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast.
Thank you.
I don't know why, because like a lot of people's last name, I usually just all say like Tony, welcome to the, but you're Tony Johnson. It flows nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
nice.
Yeah, welcome.
Flattery gets you everywhere.
Yeah, thank you. That's the
That
same with us.
That is true.
Mm.
Do you have like a love language?
My love language is love, like all form. I mean,
You know the love languages. There's gift,
Physical touch,
gifts,
acts of
acts
service.
of service, words of affirmation. Is there another one, or
Yeah,
is there
there's
just
5.
4? There's 5. Huh?
Quality time.
Quality time.
so I think mine would be like affirmation and like basically like telling me I'm cool. I like to hear it.
Yeah, so that affirmation.
Yeah, affirmation.
Yeah, telling you.
Affirmation.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation. Yeah. Totally.
And what was the other one? Quality of time.
Quality
Physical
time.
touch.
Physical touch.
What was it?
Acts of service.
Acts of service.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like acts of service. I mean,
At the end of the day, I like them all.
Yeah.
Like they're all good.
well, I just suck at quality time. Like,
Yeah.
Like I have to fight myself to turn the ringer off, like
Yeah.
to like sit still for
Yeah.
a minute. I'm getting better at it now. Like it's way better than it used to be, but it still sucks. So, that's how my whole recovery's been. Like I recognize different areas. I'm like, oh, like I need some work here.
Sure.
Like I need some work there. So we've came a long way, but like my self-care is like where I really got to lock in at, Like I get so busy, being the hero, like answering all the phone calls, like, it's crazy how all this happened. It was really just a transferable skill, because in my old life, like I'm running the streets, like I'm selling dope, like I'm doing all the things. And in recovery, like, my journey has been, leveling up through behavioral health from house manager to director of admissions, and I didn't know the things that I was doing was actually business development, like just knowing all the people and having all the plugs. It's the same thing as the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like how it all started out, like, to look at from the beginning till here, like it just blows my mind. I was talking about it on the way here, like, when I used to hear people say like, you'll be amazed before you're halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had no idea what that really even meant. Now I see it. So, like starting off, it's like the typical like addict alcoholic story, broken home. Like, both my parents were addicts and alcoholics. My mom had co-occurring disorders, manic depressive, bipolar, like crackhead, alcoholic junkie, and, just like a lot of women that I had come across in active addiction, like she was struggling. She was sick. Like she took off, when I was real early and left my dad to it, And, throughout the years, I always had this like, I always felt like one day my real mom's going to come back and save me. I was waiting for my hero to show back up. And she never got to, and I had resentments for all those years. And she ended up dying in the disease.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of, it took me a long time to be able to wrap my mind around that and, get rid of those resentments and forgive her and recognize that she was sick, My dad, I was so fortunate to have had the dad that I had. He was in recovery when I was born. So he already had a handful of years under his belt. He was a substance abuse counselor for a treatment center in Seattle. And as far back as I can remember, I've been in the rooms. I just didn't know it was the rooms. It was just a bunch of weirdos smoking cigarettes, like talking crap. But
getting their coffee and their donuts.
Yeah, but they were nice though.
Yeah.
So he was just a real good dude.
How old was he when he ended up getting sober?
He was he was 40, about 40 years old.
Okay.
The same age that I was when I got sober.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm 47 now. I got sober when I was 40. So, I'm 6.5 years clean right now.
Nice.
So right around the same time, And, but, he was a savage, when he was in active addiction. So my brother and sisters from my dad, Lena, George, Philip, and Audrey, their mom, Myrna, we sat down one day and started counting the kids that my dad had, because he was married to her for years, and she knew, she was, on and off with him through his whole, disease.
Oh, wow.
But he had 18 kids that we counted.
No way.
And there's probably more than that out
wow.
there. He was born in 1933. I was born when he was 46. We tracked it back to about 1963. There was some before that,
Yeah.
But and the majority, pretty much all of my brothers and sisters, all identify as addict, alcoholic,
wow.
robbers, pimps, prostitutes, every criminal element,
Yeah.
And but they loved me though. My sister Lena, she was more like a mom than a sister. She was 15 years older than me. And, used to change my diapers and babysit me and stuff when I was a kid. And, she's just such an amazing person, she really was one of the main ones that tried to steer me in the right direction, but none of them were oh, this is my kid brother. He's going to grow up to be an amazing drug dealer,
right?
They all love me. And that's actually what I identify as love, as a kid, when I was around my brothers and sisters, they're spoiling me. They're buying me toys, bikes, in the 80s growing up, if you had a couple dollars to go to the store, you're a boss, And, so I identified love as you're giving me something, And then when I was about, 5 years old, my dad ends up marrying this lady, and, I share it, everywhere I share, a lot of people that I've came across, they have their parents get into a relationship with someone that just doesn't like them, and this lady didn't like me, she never took to me, and she showed me she didn't like me, I went through all forms of abuse as a child,
Wow.
And there was just this crazy, situation of when I'm with my brothers and sisters, my biological brothers and sisters, it's all love. And when I'm at home, whenever my dad's not around, I'm pretty much getting beat up on or picked on or bullied, and it annihilated me, at an early age, that's also where some of my main character defects took root, lying and manipulation, because I'm lying my way out of these beatings. And in my little kid mind, I'm justifying these lies, it's okay to lie when you're saving your neck, and then these lies manifest bigger and bigger. And I'm at school and I'm lying to kids about what's really going on at home. I want to be one of the cool kids, I'm lying to teachers about, stuff going on, and I'm lying everywhere. I grew up to be a liar. I tell people all the time, I was a horrible liar. I'm 6'2", 250 pounds as an adult. People are like, dang, Tony, you play pro football? Hell yeah, I did. I played college football. I was sponsored. Nike was on my first 4-step, when I got in the rooms, and I never played it down in college football. Never was on the Seahawks practice squad. I was so bad. If I heard something out of your story that I liked, I'll put it in my story. It'd just be our story, because I was that kind of a liar. And anyways, this whole start of my nucleus was all just cracked, you know, like there wasn't a firm bedrock in my foundation wasn't built upon bedrock, right? So you know, like, and I never really told my dad what was going on, you know, like I'm sure he knew, you know, that she didn't like me, but I never really got a chance to like really express myself to him. And then you know, I was around 10 years old, we decided that we were going to move from Seattle to Vegas. And well, my dad decided, and I was like, all right, cool. Like I knew I was going to be around my brothers and sisters and I was going to be safe, you know, because that stuff never happened around my brothers and sisters. And as soon as we got down there, he ended up having a massive stroke, and it disabled him, you know. And you know, my dad and my stepmom ended up going back to Seattle. I stayed in Vegas with my godmother Myrna, my brother and sister's mom, and you know, my brothers and sisters, like for a while. But like, you know, they were ill-equipped to raise a young kid.
Yeah,
you
how
know?
old were you?
I was 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
You know, and you know, it wasn't that they didn't love me. It's just that, you know, Myrna couldn't take care of a little kid, and my brothers and sisters were never around. They're too busy out doing whatever they're doing, you know. And I ended up going back to Seattle, and this is around the time that the neglect started, you know, because even though there was abuse when in my childhood, like I wasn't neglected. My dad made sure that he took care of me. You know, I always had clean clothes, like, you know, things like that. And, you know, coming into the 7th grade, you know, now, you know, I'm showing up to school with like, you know, beat up clothes, like shopping at Goodwill for my school clothes. No kid wants to walk in like that. Like I had a really low self-esteem, and, you know, kids are
Brutal.
beast, you know, like they're going to let you know if they think you're a scrub, you know? And that's actually what led me, you know, to my first time using, you know. I was a decent athlete as a kid. You know, I played Pop Warner football, high school football, and I had this kid on my football team, and his dad sold weed, right? So one day we get the bright idea, we're going to go smoke weed, right? And, you know, growing up in the 80s, I used to always see these videos in health class, like little Johnny athlete gets high one time, overdoses and dies, right? So I was pretty sure I was getting ready to die. And, you know, we go down to the lake and we got the little sneak-a-toke, like little metal bowl. You put a crumb in there, you hit it like 97 times, you know?
Yeah.
And we're passing this bowl around. And as we're passing it around, you know, these guys are having the time of their life, and I'm having a panic attack because I know I'm about to die. Like, I'm going to be the first one in the history of marijuana to overdose off a crumb of weed, you know? And, you know, afterwards, like, I got to walk home, and it's like wooded areas in Seattle. It gets dark at like 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
There's definitely wolves and bears in the woods. And you know, you get the munchies. There's no munchies. Like, you know, kids like me, we made like sugar butter bread or put syrup on bread and drink some water. I didn't like weed. You know,
Yeah.
That was not a good experience, you know. But, you know, like moving on into high school, you know, like you know, my freshman year of high school, I was annihilated. You know, and one day the cool kids invited me to a party, and I didn't even know they knew I existed, so I'm going, you know, and we go to this party, you know, and you know, this is around like 93, like, you know, Boys in the Hood and Men's Society was hot. Like all of America was Crips. There wasn't even a Blood yet because Lil Wayne wasn't here. and you know, we go to this party, and I'll never forget the sensation of that liquor going into my system. Because the second I started drinking, I wasn't scared. I didn't have any anxiety. I had no fear, you know? Like, I was in the moment. Like, there's little chicks at the party, like, I'm shooting my shot, you know? It was amazing. And then, you know, I always talk about it in Bill's story in the book, Big Book, Alcoholics Anonymous, at the very beginning, talks about Bill walking into that old English town. Like, he passed that sign, "Here lies a grenadier, caught his death by drinking beer." And, you know, Bill thinks to himself, like, ominous warning of sorts, right? Like, had I recognized that sign and stopped right there, then maybe this whole story turns out different. And my first ominous warning came in the form of projectile vomit. Like, I threw up everywhere in this house except in the toilet, you know? And you would think that a person has a reaction like that to a substance. They don't do that anymore, you know? But like me, like I was just like, I got to figure out a way to be able to do this without that happening, So that's what I did, like throughout high school, from time to time, like when I didn't want to think and feel how I was thinking and feeling, I'll go find a party and I'll probably end up pissing in your mom's laundry room, or throwing up all over the couch,
Right.
And that's how I made it through my young years, So, that led me into my young adult years where, my senior year of high school, like after football season was over, there was no point in going back to school. That's the only reason I went to school.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, I had bounced around from Seattle to Vegas. I lived in Wyoming, in Riverton, Wyoming, on the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming. My stepmom was Native American. And, I had to make a choice. I was tired of being in Seattle, wet and miserable out in the rain, because I had long since started running the streets and staying away from the house, right? And, I didn't want to go to Wyoming. It's like negative 30 degrees in the winter, right? Like I didn't want to stay in Seattle, but in my delusional mind, right, my alcoholic mind, I see my brothers and sisters as all ballers, right? So my plan is I'm going to go to Vegas. They're probably going to give me a little bit of dope and I'm going to be the next Pablo Escobar, right? And I believe this. Like I'm really delusional like that. So I head to Vegas, and as soon as I get there, this is where I see the progression of this disease, right? Because it's progressive. Like it's always getting worse. It's never getting better. And at this time, they're using for the better part of 20 years, right? So now like they're shot out. They lost all that wealth that they had. They aren't running around in all the nicest cars and everything. Like my sister had this boyfriend, B, and B like has like a cracked tooth and this crazy afro. And like this dude would steal anything that wasn't nailed down. Like I've seen him steal furniture out of Rent-A-Center. Like how do you steal furniture out of Rent-A-Center? Right? Like crack. That's how you steal furniture out of Rent-A-Center. I mean, everybody in active addiction knows a booster that just things just disappear in their hands. And I was pissed. Because I came down there for these reinforcements, and there's no reinforcements coming, and I'm a young kid. And
how old were you at this time?
I was 18.
Okay.
And I had no idea how I was going to make it, but I wasn't one of those 18s that grew up thinking it was okay to sell drugs and to bust guns and to do all these things, right? Like my brothers and sisters were always like, do as I say, don't do as I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I knew that it was wrong to get out in the streets and do all these things. But for me, like in my mind, like I wasn't, little Billy that's mom bought him a car when he was 16 and set him up for success, right? Like I wasn't the kid that's dad taught him how to be an electrician so he can make it, So for guys like me, this is what we had to do. We have to get out there and we have to make it happen. And unfortunately, the consequences might be death or prison, but that's just the cards that we were dealt, And the thing about me was I've never just had malice in my heart. I never wanted to hurt anyone, but I knew, there was a possibility that I was going to have to. And if I stayed drunk enough for long enough, I wouldn't care about it and I'd be able to handle it, So, I got in the streets and I built up this image of myself, like in Vegas, of like, I'm a killer, and like, along the way, like, the natural progression of that happened as I built up this image of being a bully to protect myself, right? Because I'm so scared and I don't want to be hurt anymore, right? I ended up getting shot. And, I got shot Christmas of 99. That was right before my 21st birthday. And, I hit like a crossroads, and it talks about it in the book, right? Like, there's that temperate user, that person that's able to put down the bottle for a time if a good enough reason pops up, right? Like, I just said that backwards, but that's actually an acute user, right? Like, I traded my disease for, money.
This episode is brought to you by Wolfpack Bags. This gear is meant for anybody gym, lifestyle, to anybody that's on the move. I mean, I like to say that us here and everybody that tunes in, We're not average. We're always a wolf. They have all the goods that you need, especially for anybody that is looking for a bag to carry their meal prep, a lunch pail, anything like that. They have you covered. So once again, go to wolfpack.com, use the code Hopeaholics, save 10%, and join the pack.
Right? Because I knew that if I continued to drink and continue to build up this image as a bully, I was going to get killed that way. But I figured if I had all the money, then I would be safe, you know? And that's what I did. Like, and the money was enough to keep me sober because it filled me with these good feelings,
Sure.
right? Like I'm having cars, I'm having houses, all the girls, everybody loves the plug, right? Yep. And I was never a temperate user, right? I couldn't just drink a half a beer and put it down, you know? Like I'm going all in, so I know it's either all or nothing with me, right? So the money, the girl, like even the kids would keep me sober for a little while. And then eventually I'll make up some excuse to go back out, you know? Like it's too hot outside. It's too cold outside. Like she made me mad. Like they made me mad. I got cracked at the casino again, right? And I'll go on another spree, and I will not stop drinking until my body physically rejects the alcohol, right? Or I end up in a hospital or in a jail or some kind of blade that I run into, right? And then it'll sober me up for a minute, and I'll do it again later. And I was having 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, even a year sober, like not in recovery. But
Did you stop drinking after you got shot? Like what happened? What was the transition there? Like getting shot at 21 is a huge moment in life and in someone's situation. Like what was going through your mind at that particular time of what am I doing?
Well, I remember my guy Ryan, he came into the hospital and he was like, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to do anything? And I was like, no, bro, they just shot me. like, don't go get yourself killed. I was scared to death.
Sure.
So that's when I decided I was just going to get all the money,
Okay.
and then everything was going to be different, you know?
But then you started doing benders.
Then I recognized, like when I look back now, I could recognize like, yeah, there was an issue there. I couldn't just stop.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I was reading about it earlier in the big book in chapter 11. Like I didn't have a starting problem. I had a stopping problem, you know? Like, so, and then also even through these times where I'm using this money to keep me sober, I'm going through more and more trauma still, right? Because I'm selling drugs. So I'm seeing, you know, my friends get murdered. Like I'm seeing people go to prison forever, you know? And I wasn't recognizing how bad this trauma was until I started having physical symptoms of the trauma, you know? Anxiety, like panic attacks, right? Like I go to the doctor, like I'm having a heart attack. He's like, no, you're just crazy, bro. Like, take the Xanax. And then all of a sudden I found the answer, right? Like the answer to all my problems. Because when I take the Xanax, I feel no fear. Like I have no anxiety. Like I'm not
alcohol in the pill form.
Yeah, you know. And I mean, and the doctors give it to me, so I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Justifying that one.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah, supposed to have it.
And
need it.
And you know, that's the thing about it. Like one of the main things that I could recognize is that, you know, this toxic masculinity that was bred into me, right? It wasn't my brother's fault. It wasn't my dad's fault. It wasn't his dad's fault. Like over the millennia, we're taught that we don't show fear. We don't show sadness. We don't show, you know, depression, right? And this pill has taken away all of that. So it's okay, right? And it was wrong. Like that was wrong. You know, like, you know, but how was I supposed to know? Like, how do you know if you don't know?
Right.
Right? If nobody takes the time to teach you. And just like I said, like this progressive disease, you know, that leads me to, you know, Loratab's Vicodin. Like it's from the doctor. It's okay. Makes me feel amazing, right? And I mean, you know, but I don't have that control valve, right? Like I can't stop this. So, you know, I'm not taking one tablet every 4 hours. I'm taking 4 tablets every hour. And, you know, like I just can't stop. I'm addicted to more. And I want to feel different right now, right? And it just gets worse and worse and worse, you know? I finally ended up getting locked up, because even though like I'm in the streets wilding, I never really get locked up, right? And they gave me real time for the first time. It was 90 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get this 90 days and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm never doing this again. I joined a cult, right? Like we're in there praying like 5 times a day. Like this is all about God now. I cut off all my side chicks in jail, right? Like committed, right? And I get out of jail, and you know, along the way, like I had gotten married to my ex-wife, and you know, I had a kid with her and she already had kids, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with Vegas. Like I'm not selling dope anymore. I'm moving to Phoenix. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go to church and I'm gonna join Bible studies and I'm gonna change, you know? And you know, I got down here or to Phoenix, and right away, like, you know, I recognized I didn't have a single life skill. Like people were asking me for resumes. I didn't know how to make a resume. I mean, I had a few jobs over the years, but like I had no life skills. So how was I gonna make it, right? And you know, very quickly I just had pulled off a geographical change. Instead of selling dope in Vegas, I'm selling dope in Phoenix, and I can't sell the cool kid drugs like the weed and coke and ecstasy. I got to sell heroin and meth to all these weirdos out here, you know? My house looks like a broke Best Buy, right? Like nothing works, right? Like people are trading me everything for anything, and
Right.
I'll buy that cord later. I'm not the guy that buys the cord. I can fix nothing. You could ask her, she'll tell you, right? like it's not what it is. But you know, and then I start to kind of wade out in the waters, because even though, like, you know, I'm alcoholic, I do everything alcoholically, I never had became a drug addict, like, you know, on hard drugs, right? I only did the soft drugs from the doctors. But I dibble and dabbled with like meth and stuff like that. But I'd get high one night, like make a bunch of rap songs in some makeshift studio, and come down the next day and talk crap about all the tweakers, right? That's how I was. Like, y'all are a weirdo, you're smoking it. Like I just snort it, right? And like I'm better than, right? Like, and then in 2014, right? Like one day, like I get myself into a situation, like I was really being a bully again, right? And I'm standing in front of this dude's truck, and you know, and he was scared to death, right? And I used to have this story made up about how it was his fault, but this dude was scared to death, and he did what people do when you're scared to death and you got a bully standing in front of you and you're in your truck. You know, he ran me over, and this dude, he hit me, he drugged me 500 feet through an apartment complex,
Damn.
and then he ran my face over, like. I had 47 fractures, 3rd-degree burns over 23% of my body. You know, broke my jaw backwards. You know, and even at that, like I recently just remembered in the last couple weeks, I remembered that when I got ran over and all of those things happened, I still jumped up and got rid of the dope that was in my pocket. Right? Like that's what I was worried about as I'm dying. Like I hope they don't find these drugs, right? And I ended up in a coma for a few weeks, and when I finally got out of the hospital, I didn't have to worry about being an alcoholic anymore, you know? Like I was strung out on pills. And you know, I start doctor shopping, you know, like a lot of pill addicts do. I'm getting like, you know, 500-600, you know, Roxy 30s a month, and I'm eating them, and I start snorting them, and I'm smoking them, right? And then eventually the natural progression of the pills happen, you know, because they get expensive. I can't find them anymore. And one of my real good friends showed up. He actually just celebrated 11 years sober.
Wow.
Like he showed up, and he was like, here, bro, just smoke this tray. You'll be okay, you know? And I smoked this tray of heroin, and boom, I'm instantly better, you know? And I was like, I was pissed. I wasn't pissed that I became a heroin addict. I was pissed that I just blew all this money on these pills, you know? Like, that's how sick I am, right?
Yeah.
And then only a weirdo does heroin without meth, right? So boom, I'm all the addicts. That's how I identify. I'm Tony, I'm all the addicts, right? So, and up until this point in my life, I had never caught any felonies, but 2014 was my year. Like, I caught all the felonies, right? And then I go to jail, and you know, they're constantly filing more and more charges on me over that next year, from December of 2014 until November of 2015. About every 6 weeks, they'd file more charges, right? Sales, possession, illegal use of electronic device. How else do you sell drugs? Now I'm getting charged with the cell phone, right? And domestic situations, everything, anything possibly that could happen is happening. And then I go to prison.
Are you still married at this time?
I didn't
I
know,
was.
I didn't know that was a charge. I don't know if that's a charge in California, but like,
Yeah, because you guys are different. In
Yeah.
Phoenix, everything is a felony. like you don't. There are no misdemeanors.
I was just know
Like,
the electronic use of the use of an electronic device, illegal use.
of electronic device.
Yeah, I don't think that's a charge out here.
Using a cell phone in the commission of a drug deal.
Right.
F4 felony, punishable by 2.5 years in prison.
Wow.
The first time. Yeah. So, yeah, this
They're just
happened.
popping shit on just to pop another fucking charge.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anything they could do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was still married until I got to prison. Right. Because when I get to prison, she sends me the divorce papers. And I'm like, how dare you? Right.
Of course.
Like, I'm in prison.
course.
I just got ran over. I'm strung out on drugs. I'm broke. Right. Not that I cheated on you 100 times. I drug you through the mud. I neglected you and abused you. Like, I treated you like you were an enemy, right? I'm not thinking of anything like that because that's who I am in my disease, right?
Yeah.
Selfish, self-centered, self-seeking, right? And I had a 3.5-year pity party over that. How dare you leave me, right? Like, and then I get out and I don't change anything. And then it happens again. I go back again, right? They give me another 3.5 years, and this will get you in California. They raid the house, and I'm not really a drug dealer anymore. I'm just a junkie trying to stay well. They find 3 Suboxone strips. They gave me 3.5 years for 3 Suboxone strips,
Wow.
right? And it wasn't for the Suboxone though, right? I'm on all these different probations. Like, I'm a menace to society. That's why they gave me the time. The Suboxone just gave them the unique opportunity to lay me down.
Sure.
And I get to jail, and along the way, right? Like I have a mom. Like, she's not my biological mom. Like, she took me in from the neighborhood when I was a kid. Like, she's loved me my whole life, right? No matter what. And I did what all the real G's do when you go to jail, right? Mama, right? You'll never believe what they did to me, right? And I called her up, and I was like, Ma, like, blah, blah, blah. She stops me, and she's like, Tony, baby, I love you. I'm always going to love you. She's like, but I could deal with you being a thug, and I could deal with you selling the drugs, but I'm not dealing with no damn junkie. You better get over this. And she hung up on me. And in the book, right, and more about alcoholism, it talks about that point that we hit, pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization.
Yep.
And I was there. I had lost everything. I had no one. Nobody wanted to hear my shit anymore. I was there, and this time it hit different because I finally recognized maybe something's a little bit off. Maybe, right? So I hit the yard this time and I start searching for an answer, right? And I start trying to go to church, right? But that wasn't quite working. And I go to meetings, but it's like the dudes that are just trying to get their visits back, getting their meeting card signed. And I had been to prison. The last time I was at this prison called Florence North Unit, right? And I used to see people in recovery, like, doing classes, like going to meetings. And I find out I'm getting reclassed and I'm going back to that yard, right? So I made up my mind and I was like, I'm going to go here and I'm never getting high again, right? I'm going to go here. I'm going to take advantage of all these programs, all these opportunities to make it. Like, I'm going to do this. I had my mind made up, right? And we're on our way to the yard. And as soon as they drop me off, I run into an old friend. He's like, what's up, bro? You still getting high? And I was like, kinda. And I was high again, And that night, at North Unit, when you first get there, you're actually in a tent, and it was July 26, 2019, and it felt like July 26, 2019 in Phoenix. It was like 110 degrees, and I'm in this tent, and I'm high as hell, and I'm just sweating, and I recognized I could not do this anymore. I'm not going to make it through this time like this. I just wanted to die. And there was probably a over and under on like when I was gonna cry. I feel like I beat it. Like it was probably the over this time. That next morning, I went into an orientation, and I see this guy, right? And they talk about it in the book. Like this guy resembled the guy that I used to know, but right there, all resemblance stopped. Last time I saw him, he was shot out, noodle grooving around the yard, and this time he's healthy. And I asked him, I was like, bro, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm in recovery. I've been clean for a year. My wife comes and visits me every weekend. Like I get to see my kids. I was like, man, I want that, you know? And he invited me to a meeting. It was an NA meeting. And, you know, I walk into this meeting and I see like 4 or 5 other dudes that I used to sell dope to and get high with. And they were healthy, you know? And it was weird. And they gave me this paper to read. I think it's called What is an Addict? And I start reading this reading and I just broke. Because it started answering all the questions that I was asking myself. Like, why do I lie to everyone? Why do I burn everything to the ground? Like, why does everyone hate me? Why do I hate myself? It's because I'm an addict. And, you know, I was ashamed and full of guilt. And I didn't want to look around that room because I knew that everybody was going to be judging me, you know? And I wouldn't look up. And then finally when I did, and I looked around, then I just saw the complete opposite. Like, everybody understood exactly what had happened, exactly where I was, exactly how I felt. And all I saw was compassion and empathy and understanding, a bunch of dudes that I didn't quite know it then, but were ready to fight for me. So, you know, after the meeting, all these weirdos start trying to hug me, telling me everything's okay. I'm like, bro, get the fuck off me. This is weird, you know? But I asked my dude to sponsor me, and he did, you know? And I started working the steps, and I didn't quite believe that it was going to work, you know, but I didn't have anything to lose, you know? And I was just going through the motions, just in hopes that I'd be okay, you know? And, you know, I talk about it all the time, like, you know, when I was sitting on that rec field doing that 3rd step prayer, and like him and I are having like this real bromantical experience, and we're looking each other in the eyes, and it's like, damn, bro, isn't this amazing? A couple guys out here just figuring some stuff out. And I was like, nah, no, this is not amazing, you know? Like my amazing really does look like a Rick Ross video at this point, right? Like, but I had nothing to lose, so I just kept going through the motions, and, you know, I finished the steps, and, you know, there's no party or anything. Like, they're just like, here's a big book, go do this 100,000 more times, and you'll stay sober, you know? And that's what I did, you know? I end up making it through these 2.5 years. You know, it talks about it in the book, like, very few are so fortunate as to be able to dedicate all their time to this program, and I was in prison, I had some time, right? And I end up spending all my time sponsoring, you know, taking classes, moderate treatment with Miss Franz. She was our counselor, and I worked for her. So I got like 2 hours of therapy for free every morning, right? And I did everything that I can do to learn something different. And finally came to the day that I was getting out. You know, I had 2 years left to do, and I got out with 2 years clean, and had to start all over. Like, I had no idea how to live out here, you know? I ended up getting myself into a reentry program, and, you know, I get certified in peer support, and I had no idea what behavioral health really even was, you know? Like, my first interview, I go in, and there's this lady, Yolanda O.C., right? And she's interviewing me. I was fucking scared to death. I mean, you know, I have a few years clean, but that's all I got, you know? And I'll never forget, like, she asked me, like, towards the end of the interview, like, after we're just having this cool conversation, she was just a normal person, how we are, you know? She's one of us. And she looks me in my eyes, and she's like, why should I hire you? and I fucking broke. Like that character defect of lying and manipulation, like the shortcoming had been removed, right? So I had nothing for her, and I just had to tell her the truth. And I start crying in the interview. I'm like, I don't know if you should. Like, I don't know if you should. I don't know if I can do this. I just know that one time someone gave me a chance, so maybe I could help someone, you know? And I walked out of that interview and I was like, damn, I'm off the punt on that one. Like,
Yeah.
but she actually hired me. She sent me an offer letter, and she gave me a chance. And I probably wouldn't have, you know. But you know, today she's family to me, you know, and she recognized something inside of me, and she decided to, you know, to love me until I could love myself, like we do in the program. And I was able to, you know, come in at an entry level like peer support BHT, and moved on to lead BHT and case manager, and then went into outreach and business development until eventually I became a director of admissions. And you know, like along the way, like, you know, the promises of this program like came to fruition. You know, those two boys that I helped create and never stuck around long enough to raise them, I was able to make amends to them, like through action, right? Like my baby's mom, my youngest son's mom, she had no reason, neither one of them have any reason to ever trust me again, right? But she wasn't gonna, right? And I sent money every 2 weeks. Like when I got out of prison, as soon as I got a job, every 2 weeks I'd send her money, and she'd just send me a thumbs up, right? Like I think I got one picture over that next year that I was finally out, right? And every 3 months I'd have like another breakdown, and Kat and I were just friends then, right? And she was going through similar situations with her kids. And I'd be like, I'm getting a lawyer, I'm taking her to court, like I deserve to see my kid, right? And then I'd come back to reality, and I'd be like, for all the crap that I put her through, I'm just paying the piper right now. And I probably should just sit down and wait for it. Until eventually, like a year out of prison, you know, I finally felt like I put in enough work, and I was like, you know, I'm a productive member of society now. I mentor and I sponsor 100 dudes, you know, like I do community service and service work. Like I'm a responsible man now, and I just want the opportunity to be able to share it with my kid. And she was like, okay. I was just scared, and I wasn't sure if you were just lying again. And now, you know, me and my youngest son have a really good relationship. It costs like $80 a hug, but it's cool. You know, like he's a real good kid. You know, like my oldest son, I hadn't seen him since he was 3 years old, and I got to fly out to Iowa to spend some time with him and make my amends in person. And even when I made that amends to him, like my guys are just so amazing. Like this kid looks me in my eyes. He's like, well, you know, I actually had a good life. Like, you know, my mom ended up marrying my dad, and he's a cop, and he taught me all this cool stuff. And it kind of sounds like you had a better deal than me, and you don't owe me anything. You know, it's all good. And, you know, we talk now, you know. I never imagined this would be happening. You know, where my career is, I recently, I had one of my guys, Justin Frakes. We used to sit in prison early in recovery, and he was a few months ahead of me. Now I'm, I think, a couple years ahead of him. But that's how it happens.
Right.
But we used to watch Ellen DeGeneres in prison and watch Ellen helping all these people. And we're like, one day we're going to get out, and we're going to be able to help as many people as Ellen does. And it took us a minute, but we actually just started our own sober living company.
Oh, nice.
Called Elevated Purpose Sober Livings. I literally just got our DHS license through the state last Thursday. You know, I work at this amazing company called Mercy Center of Arizona, and we're focused on reentry and helping guys get out of prison, out of jail, females too, like co-ed. And you know, it's such an amazing opportunity for me because, you know, I have so much lived experience in prison now, and knowing what it took to like get out and get on my feet, you know. And our owners, Oliver Davey and Keisha, like, you know, from the moment that I met these people, I just knew that it was from God, you know? Like I don't do something that's just a job, you know? Like I literally am just me, and I just get to help a ton of people, you know? Like, you know, I have a house that I rent rooms at for dudes that are a little bit further along in their recoveries. And these dudes just support me so much, you know? And you know, I've had the opportunity to help tens of thousands of people along the way in these last 6.5 years. Like, it's hard to even imagine like what's coming. You know, we got engaged a couple weeks ago, and you know, Oliver was telling me earlier when I was talking to him about this, he's like, you have to remember that you deserve to be in any room that you're in, whether it's royalty or people like us in a soup line, you know? And I'm so grateful for this whole journey, you know? Like I recently got put on the board of the Spot Sober Lounge. My sponsor, Stefan Tyler, he owns this place in Phoenix called The Spot, along with my grand sponsor, BMO. And it's a place where if you're in recovery, you can always go, and there's love there, you know? Like, we do events every weekend. I mean, I used to always think, like, when I got in recovery, it was going to be so boring, you know? Like, does the sun even shine if I'm not selling dope or getting high? There's been no boredom, you know? There's always something to do. So I don't know. It's been a trip. It's all kind of a trip.
Amazing.
Thank you.
What do you do today to maintain your sobriety of just, I can obviously sense like the peacefulness that you have today?
So, like I said, I don't know if it had even started yet. Like I always have something to work on, right? And lately, like, I've been recognizing unmanageability in my physical health and finances,
Sure.
right? Because, like, you know, I started getting out and building up that credit, and then my credit score shot up to like a 700, and they started giving me all this free money that I could just go buy whatever I wanted with, and that wasn't my money. So, so right now, I'm learning about credit and how to fix some stuff, you know, because when something's in my life that's unmanageable, it just leaves me restless, irritable, discontent. Also the physical health part, I just started back at the gym about a month ago. So I just completed my first month of 4 days a week,
Nice.
dedication, making sure that I'm really putting everything into it with one of my guys from Active Addiction that's in recovery now, Luis, and he's an amazing trainer. And so I'm working on my physical health. Those are, like, you know, the main things I'm focused on right now in my recovery. I hit meetings, right? Like I have a lot of sponsees. Like, probably on paper I have like 20 of them. 4 of them, 5 of them are actually doing the work, you know. A lot of them are out of the book already and just call me back for like maintenance, you know. I'm a CODA sponsor. Like, you know, I had some unmanageability with my codependency, and I didn't even know I was a codependent. So after I learned exactly what a codependent was, I was like, I should probably do that too. And and CODA's just, you know, it's a trip. Like, my recovery has looked like, at first I was just trying to get sober, and that was one layer of the onion. Then, you know, now how do I stay sober and start moving through the world, right? That's a bunch of different layers of the onion. And then, you know, emotional wellness. Like, once I got through there, right, all of a sudden God showed up, right? Because for me, in the beginning, right, I didn't really have a higher power, and I did identify as agnostic, right? Not agnostic, I didn't think there was a God,
Sure.
but agnostic, I had no set or determined path to God, right? Like, no determined spirituality. And so I hit my knees because I knew that there was a God, because 2 atoms colliding together in the middle of the universe just doesn't math for me, right? So I'm like, I'm going to show this God that I surrender by me hitting my knees, right? And I'm not one of those weirdos that could just have conversations with God, like, oh, I'm just talking to my God, like walking around, like I wasn't like that. but I do like the Lord's Prayer, the Serenity Prayer. And I just show God, okay, man, like I know you're out there. Just please help me right now. Over the years, like he starts to kind of show up in my meditations, and I just know that this is him because these aren't my thoughts, right? And I started to walk down this path. Well, after I did, the steps and learning recovery in the world and CODA stuff and EMDR and all these different things, all of a sudden I recognize that I should get baptized Christian, right? God showed me in a meditation Jesus and how my core belief system lined up with Jesus's. And it just made sense. So I got baptized this way. But I feel like this helps me to relate to the newcomer, to be like, look, I get it that you don't have it figured out. You might not have any idea at all, like what this looks like. That's okay. Like, this is all about a God of your understanding, right? Mm-hmm. It took me 6 years to get here. I don't expect you just to take my lessons and eat it and sit down and now you buy a Bible and you handle this, So for me, it's the physical fitness, my relationship with God, like, learning about credit and finances, business, I'm on the board for Arizona Recovery Housing Association. They put me in charge of ethics and investigations, which is just crazy, right? Mm-hmm. I do my best not to hold myself to a standard of perfection, right? I've made mistakes along the way, along in my career, like there was a time where I'm getting calls from all over this country, right? People are coming from everywhere. Like I worked at an all-native program and I was getting a lot of calls from people in North Dakota, like my guy Clayton Slater, right? Like Bubs is just that guy, right? Like he found his way to us from all the way out there. Like this recovery is so far reaching, like I've been put in such a unique, situation to be able to help people from all over the country, right? Like, and that time that I spent growing up on the res and the time that I spent in the hood and, the time that I've been in Vegas and in Seattle and like in recovery and all these different places, like I've just became this like chameleon where I could fit in anywhere. Like that's like my superpower now. Like God gave me that superpower to be able to walk into any room and relate to people. And it's just a little bit easier when I see that you guys are addicts and alcoholics too, because I know you've been through some weird shit. So we have stuff in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like those people that much that haven't been through weird shit. Like, because I might say some weird shit.
Yeah. It's gonna get weird, guaranteed.
At some point,
right?
You spend enough time with me, some weird shit's gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't need you getting all weird about it.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is, So it's safer for me to be in rooms with people like us.
Yeah.
Because oh man, if you just knew the thoughts that go through my head, right? Like she could sit here and tell you about the last, 4 years that I've known her. And like she tells me about it, and I was like, God, like why are you even with me? That was weird.
Right.
But it also helps me, with the newcomer. Like you can't. Well, yeah, you can get more weird than me. I mostly like do like crystal meth anonymous stuff, and you see some weird shit. I really like the first time I ever went to the spot. I walk in, and well, not the very first time, but the first like real like bigger meeting I go into, and it's like a trans woman Sharon. And there's this like 40, 50 people in this room and they're reading Are You a Tweaker? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you guys actually, I don't know if I fit in here,
And then what's funny is I am a crystal meth is I like sticking that shit right there. And Yeah, dude. Weird crystal meth people are fucking weird.
God.
Do some weird shit.
Like do some weird fucking shit. But I wanted to just like go back because you talked about going into your first meeting. Did they hand you the reading for the meeting? The who is an addict?
Yeah,
Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know
exactly.
our whole lives and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another. The getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. Because that's the first time I walked into a meeting and they handed me the leader format, but then I heard that reading. I was like, oh, I'm home.
Yeah.
These people fucking wrote readings about myself. My whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another. The getting and using and finding ways to get more. That is how my life was before I walked into Narcotics Anonymous. And I would do whatever it took. And I would spend as much time as I needed to get what I needed to just not have to feel the way I felt. That was my life.
Yes, sir. Like, and you know, you could really replace it with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Casinos, drugs, sex, like money, like
Shopping.
things, anything, right?
Ice cream.
My whole life
Yeah.
revolved around not thinking and feeling how I'm thinking and feeling right now. Like,
Yeah.
not even right now, but like yesterday, not right now.
Yeah.
Right? And like, it started right there with that reading. And along the way, I learned all these different things, right? And I'm the type of person, like, I have not been perfect along the way.
Yeah.
But when I make a mistake, I recognize that mistake. I put in a plan of action to correct it. If I make an amends, I'm making this amends because I do not want to ever feel like this again. I don't want you to ever feel like this again. And it's like an apology on steroids, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't mean to treat you this way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to treat you like this again. As long as I stay connected, I work my program and I help people. Is there anything I'm leaving out? And what can I do to make it right? Right? And I mean, I'm still sick. So like, you know, when people come to make amends to me and they're like, oh yeah, I'm making this amends for gossiping, blah, blah, blah. Well, who are you gossiping with? That's how you, that's what you're leaving out. Right. And like, you know, I'm not perfect, you know, but this whole program, like, I'm striving for spiritual perfection, right? Spiritual progress, right?
Spiritual progress, yeah.
Right?
Rather than perfection.
Rather than perfection,
Yeah.
right? And I'm getting there. And then the people that saw me walking into the rooms and the people that I get to see walking into the rooms, like, this is my herd. These are my people, right? And we're all making it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a trip.
I know. That's why I love being able to do this podcast, listen to stories like yourself, because the crux of it is it instills hope. Someone listening to your story that feels that they're at a moment in time where they think that, especially when it comes to like prison and having to do time in prison and losing kids, marriages, relationships, is a really dark place for a lot of individuals to be at. And then to hear your story of complete 180 is just another testament of not only the program, but of what happens when people put the actionable steps behind the suggestions that are given. And then also what attracted you the most, because we are all, I think, at a given point in time of our addiction, searching for those questions, because we start asking ourselves, like, we are doomed, like, we are crazy and we are basically fucked.
Yeah.
And then you go and you're on the yard and you see one of your homies that you used to either run with or sell dope to, or you knew at the time when he was really sick, and now he's looking like a change.
Like,
Now
you
it's-
bounced back.
Exactly.
How'd you pull this shit off?
And that's what's like so amazing about the program, because it's attraction rather than promotion. You saw something in him that you were like, what is he trying, when you knew that he was like, you know, definitely one of you.
Mm. And it's attraction rather than promotion, right? There's a time where I started to feel like I was a celebrity in recovery, right? Like, I'm a big
Sure.
I'm a big deal,
Sure.
right? And then the more that I moved into my ego like that, I started to recognize, like, I'm getting a lot of haters, right? like, I don't want you guys to see me anymore, right? And then, like along the way, it's like, you know, right now, like my focus is on not so much look at me and look at what I'm doing, rather than like, this is between me and God. And then I get to do things like this because God sees me.
Sure.
Right. And it's genuine and it's sincere. You know, I talk about it all the time. Behavioral health is like the Game of Thrones, right? Like, I don't know how it is out here for you guys, but like in Phoenix, it's like the Game of Thrones. Like, you never know who is going to start throwing shade. You never know who's going to try to cut off your head, and you better have a dragon. If you don't, you're screwed, right?
We got dragons.
Yeah, mini dragons, right?
I would like to say I'm Khaleesi.
No, I'm a little baby dragon, you know, myself, you know.
I'd be Jon Snow.
Probably, you know. I don't even really know who I would be at this point. Like,
I'd be
still
Khaleesi.
growing.
I'm riding my dragons because I'm spitting fire if I need to. I'm giving them the command.
Yeah.
Don't come for me because I'm coming for you.
It's
We have a mother of dragons, but I'm not going to say her name. Her head's too big.
I've worked in behavioral health since 2001, so 25 years, long time. I started at the bottom. A lot of your stories, it's very similar. I got, you know, I'd never had a job before. Man, I was selling dope at 18.
Yeah.
Not good.
I wasn't good at it. I wasn't good at it. Like, if I was at the fucking Colton Inn for $19.99 a night, you know,
We're killing it.
I was balling. If I was at, if I was at the what's that other like hotel that everybody goes to? Anyways, motels. I was at motels,
You're at
not
motels.
hotels.
You're not at hotels. You're at motels.
They were hotels.
Yeah.
They were motels that had hoes up in them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the motels that you actually can see your door from the parking lot.
Yeah.
God.
And the hookers are all around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where I was hanging
Mm-hmm.
out.
Ladies of the night.
Yeah,
We gotta
ladies
call them
of the
hookers
night.
anymore. It's 2026. You got to watch how you talk.
Oh man, it's a terrible up here because like we are like politically incorrect, and the only thing that keeps us some sanity is that Emily is what are you, a millennial? Gen Z.
Gen Z. I'm a millennial.
Oh, oh yeah. Ooh, she probably got upset with me.
Yeah,
right
she
now.
did.
I called her.
I think we're more Gen X or something.
I'm an X. Yeah, I'm 52.
All right, yeah, I'm 47.
I'm an old fucker up in here.
I'm on
God,
two.
man.
I'm on two.
It's a trip we made it this far, huh?
I never expected to.
No.
And then like I'm hearing, I'm like, how in the fuck did I get 52? It's like the years just like flew by. Wasn't it just 1992 when I was 18?
Yeah,
No,
I thought I was
no,
going to be
that
in my
was a long
20s
time ago.
forever.
The 20s took forever.
I thought I was going to be in my 20s forever.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Man, great podcast. Really enjoyed having you on here. I want
Awesome
to say
story.
one last thing, just because like I really like the fact that you came in and you also talked about the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I attend a lot of Narcotics Anonymous or NA, but like I think sometimes what's missing from people's lives, because I do read the big book too. You know, and I think the big book is like the actual original Bible, basic information for before leaving Earth, not the Bible. But I don't want people to think I'm being sacrilegious, but like for recovery, right? And there is so much good stuff. When you walked in here and you said some of the stuff from the book, I'm like, that's real shit right there. Like, it's real stuff, you know? And then, you know, we just took the real stuff in Narcotics Anonymous and made our own stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just because we weren't accepted over here in Alcoholics Anonymous in the beginning. You know,
In the beginning.
it's a much more accepting now.
Very much more.
You know, but like I do anything alcoholically. You know, and I have the ism, I, self, me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the ism. I think about myself all the time and what I want, and are my needs being met, you know, and it's all about me. And what I found through you know, the 12 steps is that it's not all about me. And if I get stuck in me, the best thing I can do is go be of service to somebody else.
Yeah.
Nothing ensures immunity from alcohol more than intensive work with another addict,
Right.
or alcoholic,
Yep.
right?
Right?
And yeah, like, you know, it's the inventories. Like, some people, you know, they aren't 12-step people. you're going to have to do an inventory though.
Yeah.
I have to learn the how and the why of this, right?
Yeah.
Because I am looking for a sense of ease and comfort, right?
Of course.
But I have to learn how I got like this, why I'm like this. I have to go through this self-recognition, self-awareness journey. Then I got to clean this up, and I got to learn how to not do this again. So that's why, I see people like, oh, I do fitness and that's my program. Like, so are you getting to the underlying issues? Like any kind of therapy or anything like that?
I can tell you fitness alone doesn't work because I'm a relapser because I worked on fitness. That was my thing. I was like, nah, as long as I looked good on the outside, I'd be okay until I stuck a needle back in my arm.
It was still ugly on the inside.
Yeah, 100%.
Then once I got this ugliness out of me and recognized you were that ugly too, maybe, right?
Yep.
Like maybe just as ugly, right? Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. So, and then how do I stay like this? There's things I have to do every single day to stay right here,
Yep.
right? And I talk about to my sponsees, I have all the tools now at my disposal to stay sober 24 hours.
Yeah,
I could stay clean 24 hours.
That's all we get.
I've done it a few times now.
Yeah.
Like
That
tomorrow I
daily
got to
reprieve.
do it again.
Yeah.
We can't rest on our laurels. We can't rest on yesterday's recovery. It's not going to keep me. It might keep me clean today, but it might not keep me clean 7 days from now, or 2 months from now, or 3 months from now, when all the old fucking stinking thinking comes back. Because at least like when we do the daily reprieve, man, we know. Like I've done work already this morning before I got up and came here. And I'm pretty confident that if I continue throughout this day not hurting people, I got a good chance, a really, really good chance that I'm going to put my head on the pillow tonight and not fucking stick a needle in my arm. I might stick one in my belly, a little like, peptide or something, but that's...
Many people have died like that. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a kid, Kendrick Nez, like he just passed away last year from the disease. Like we got Kyle, like so many people over these last 4 years. This fentanyl stuff, bro.
Well, we exist.
It's different.
We exist only because of that. I lost my son-in-law on 9/11 of 2022 to fentanyl.
Oh, was that him on the picture downstairs?
Yep.
I'm sorry for your loss. I was reading it. I prayed for his family.
Yeah. That's why the Hopeaholics Podcast exists. His name's Justin Williams. Really good kid. He was 26 years old. But, through all of that came
Hope.
I mean, we know for a fact that tens of thousands of lives have been saved just because of us sitting here, and they say it, they used to say it in like Narcotics Anonymous a lot, that somebody's going to give up their seats. Somebody's going to die so somebody else can live, and when we do public speaking, or we do we do a recovery Zoom meeting every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The link is in our bio.
That was good.
So we say it all the time. I say that, man. I let people know that, like, Justin died so that you could have a seat. Don't give it up. Like, don't give it up. Like, he wasn't innocent. He wasn't just a kid that went and, took a pill at a party. He knew what he was doing. Mm-hmm. But like, when he took that pill, he wasn't expecting to die. No. He was just trying to ease the pain that he felt inside. Mm-hmm. And I know because like I know what that pain feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And the truth is at the end of the day, he's not hurting anymore.
No.
That's so crazy, because when I saw his picture down there, and I was like, I had a feeling like I should pray for him. And that's the thought that went through my head, was he's not hurting anymore. So I said a prayer for his family and loved ones to relieve them of any anxiety or fear or even anger that they might be feeling. Yeah. That's exactly what you just said. Like, that's what went through my head. Like, he got through it, and he's good now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you, like us, right, from these people that didn't make it, I feel a responsibility now. Even though I know that it's not my fault if I miss a call and someone makes a bad choice.
Of course.
Like, an old timer told me that years ago, and it stuck with me. Like, I do feel a responsibility, even an obligation to answer these phone calls and to make sure that you're safe, right? And then people will talk so much trash about us, right? Like, you know, oh, you work in behavioral health. You're just worried about money and capitalizing. Why don't you ask her how many calls come through in the middle of the night? You know, I'm trying to watch a movie or do something. Like, people are dying for 25 cents a pill in Phoenix.
Yeah.
You know, they don't even hide getting high anymore. At least I used to hide getting high. Like, they just get high everywhere, you know, like, and they're just dying everywhere. And fentanyl is so crazy. Like, this stuff, Phoenix gets up to 120 degrees in the summer. These people will be slumped, standing up like zombies in the heat, right? Like, just frying, right? This is a different day and age. Like, the worst case scenario isn't a random overdose or a hangover. Like, it's just killing people. And if we stop, you know, they're not going to make it.
No. That's why we keep doing this. Well, thanks for coming on, Tony. We really appreciate you. We appreciate your story.
Amazing story. God is good.
Yeah.
So good.
God is great.
God is great.
Thank you guys for having me. I didn't know what I was walking into. I was scared to death. Like, honestly,
you killed it.
I was like, I was excited.
You did so great. I loved it.
The best way to walk in, man, is not knowing what's going to happen outside. God leading you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
well, my sponsor said there's 3 ways to share. You could share the share that you want to share, the share that you think they want to hear, and the message that God's telling you to share. And I hit my knees in the bathroom. So I was like, can I use the restroom? Nice. Went in there. I do it every share.
That's
amazing.
That's what we do. Her and I, like, when we public speak, because, like, it ain't about, because I don't like public speaking. I actually don't like it. But I love it once I'm done. You know, if I'm doing it for the right reason, and that reason is that I'm being a vessel for God, you know, and sharing my experience, strength, and hope, and feeling like, you know, that when people leave, hopefully they got something out of the message that was given to me freely, you know,
freely.
Yeah. This
costs absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of time.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
I got some time for you, because at least while I'm with you, then chances are I'm gonna be okay. Right?
Yeah.
Chances are I might not want to show up sometimes, kicking and screaming the whole way there, but I usually find the joy in it afterwards. Like, right, I did need to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
For sure.
You know, I do my best not to freestyle so much anymore. I'll still do it though, because I'm sick.
Yeah.
Just got to make it weird.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.